Tonight we must start with what I call the hospital horror, because every day we are bringing you stories on the channel of what's happening across cities and towns in the country. But nothing exemplifies the collapse, in a sense, of the health infrastructure system quite like the national capital. We thought that the national capital would have the best resources. Instead, hospital after hospital is now sending out SOSs, desperately seeking oxygen supplies. And patients are struggling with hospital beds and families desperately moving from one hospital to another. Our top story tonight focuses on the collapse, in a way, of the hospital system in the national capital. Take a look.
इसके सिवा मेरा कोई नहीं है। मैं बाइक चला के रोता हुआ है इसके लिए, लेकिन कोई भी सुन नहीं रहा। इससे कुछ मेरा कौन देखेगा? बेटी सियानी है, एक छोटी है गोद की।
This is the situation in the capital of India, a country that in a matter of days has earned the dubious distinction of being the global leader in daily COVID infections. The national capital's healthcare system lies completely choked, and Aslam Khan is knocking on the doors of LNJP Hospital trying to get a bed for his COVID-positive wife, who desperately needs oxygen.
करा दीजिए सर प्लीज, और कोई नहीं है मेरा इसके सिवा। बेड नहीं है, बेड नहीं है। मैं कहीं भी लिटा के इलाज करा लूंगा। वो बात नहीं है ना मेरे भाई, मुझे बेड नहीं चाहिए। इलाज कैसे हो बताओ ना, ऑक्सीजन लेवल पे आईसीयू नहीं है ना। अरे तो नॉर्मल ऑक्सीजन तो कम से कम लगाओ, इसकी पल्स भी 65 हो गई है। मैं नापता हर हॉस्पिटल से आ रहा हूँ, माइनस होती जा रही है।
Oxygen is in short supply, and COVID-infected patients needing it the most are facing death. Health workers are unable to bear the strain of seeing patients die who just needed breaths of oxygenated air.
If we cannot give them oxygen even, what is the situation? When patient comes to, the patient will die.
Shanti Mukund Hospital in East Delhi had to put up a notice stopping further admissions because they could not guarantee oxygen for their patients.
We know they are trying to help, but there is no oxygen, sir. There is no oxygen. We know this. We know, everybody knows it. Even government is trying to help us. But ultimately, oxygen is to be generated and supplied.
As the hospital starts sending patients, shifting them to other places due to the lack of oxygen, many desperate relatives and attendants getting their own oxygen in hope that they would be able to tide over this current crisis of the oxygen.
Several hospitals are still struggling to replenish oxygen supply.
पेशेंट जो कोविड के आ रहे हैं हमारे पास, वो मैक्सिमम सिक आ रहे हैं जिनको ऑक्सीजन की ज़रूरत है। अगर ऑक्सीजन नहीं है तो ये क्राइसिस है, ऑक्सीजन मिल नहीं रही है, ये क्राइसिस है, और हॉस्पिटल्स वाले बेबस हैं।
Several hospitals also went to the High Court to seek intervention in the matter. Even administrators of big hospitals went on social media sites expressing their concerns and helplessness, asking government to do something.
Delhi, which has now the demand of 700 metric tons, which has gone up at least twice from their usual demand, though the centre has increased the quota, but the sources in the government of Delhi say that it will take at least 2 to 3 days for the situation to normalize. Yesterday, only 90 metric tons of oxygen was supplied to Delhi. The politics continues, and lives, most of them unnecessarily, have been lost because of the lack of basic supplies. This is India in the second wave of coronavirus. With camera person Dinesh Lal, Ankit Tyagi in New Delhi, India Today.
Hospitals now send out desperate SOSs for oxygen. I'm joined by a very special guest, Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, Joint Managing Director at Apollo Hospitals, joins me. Appreciate your joining us, Dr. Reddy. And the reason that I have you, I'm going to get several other hospital heads as well today, is because you tweeted at 12:10 this morning. And I put that tweet out for our viewers As I tweet, an oxygen tanker is outside the gate of Air Liquids Panipat plant at IOCL and he is not being allowed inside Haryana. Police are stopping it, not letting the oxygen out of Haryana, need urgent intervention. And you've tagged the PMO, Rajnath Singh, Piyush Goyal, the Ministry of Health and the Haryana Chief Minister. Did it require you to tweet for the government to wake up? That someone like you had to tweet? Has it reached that desperate stage, ma'am?
So, Rajdeep, I won't say it's reached that desperate stage, but I do want to say that a hospital administrator hearing that there's a problem, knowing they have 2-3 hours of oxygen supply and hundreds of patients depending on them, definitely takes every step possible to get action. And I think that was the reason I realized that, and I think in my 37 odd years of working, I have not done something like this, but I basically felt it's important. I knew that Apollo will get oxygen, but how about all the other hospitals and nursing homes? And I also want to say that whether it was the tweet or the overall scenario, we definitely found, I'm thankful the FICCI chief reached out to Home Ministry. Home Ministry issued an immediate directive. And here I want to kind of paraphrase this. In the current situation, every oxygen tanker has to be treated like an ambulance and allowed to move quickly. And the reason I'm saying this is actually India is not short of oxygen. Over a week ago, the central government, the Commerce Ministry, everybody appealed to industrialists saying, please give your manufacturing oxygen into medical. Even then, despite the fact that the medical oxygen consumption has risen 5-fold from the normal 3,000 tons per day, it's grown 5-fold now. Despite that, India actually has enough oxygen. So the shortage is actually of the tankers and the cylinders. And that's going to take a few days to correct. So in the interim, what we have to do is ensure the highest optimization of the productivity of the cylinders and the tankers. Therefore, if you're moving oxygen, we should optimize. And that was the reason that I tweeted, to find a way to optimize the movement across borders, across every scenario, so that every hospital and every patient gets help. That was the reason. And I do want to thank all the Home Ministry, Health Ministry, everybody swung into action. So,
ma'am, I'm going to say this, that you, of course, you've been a former president of FICCI, you're someone with influence. But think of the average small hospital. Think of a medium hospital in a small town. If interstate disputes in this country are going to prevent oxygen supply from moving from one state to the other, what does one say about our governance? I mean, it reflects mismanagement at different levels.
Which is exactly why I asked for this, for the sake of all hospitals and all patients. Please allow ambulances to move. That was my major request. I think things are slightly better. Let's all, optimize the use of oxygen, enhance the production of cylinders as well as of containers. The Tata Group said that they are importing cryogenic chambers. That's a fantastic thing to do. Many industrial houses are redeploying their manufacturing oxygen. So the situation is going to get tided over. But, it was a situation...
Ma'am, I'm sorry. Ma'am, I'm sorry to intervene. While the situation gets tided over, let's be honest, 72 hours is a long time in the lives of people. People at the moment are struggling. My point is, don't you agree that this kind of emergency... Yes, ma'am. My point is, what you're saying is absolutely true, that you've got to treat those tankers as ambulances, but this should have been known to the Haryana government or indeed any state government or the centre, and we needed constant monitoring of oxygen supply. It seems that the entire system, including hospitals, have been caught in a way, I won't say unawares, but certainly caught in an emergency situation with the geometric progression of cases. So is it just a supply, is it just the demand that's gone up and the supply has not been met, or a failure to anticipate a crisis?
So I think the rate at which the number of cases is increased is the fastest that we could have ever seen. What took the US 62 days to grow to this number has come in India in only 14 days. This is an unprecedented rise in demand. It is a very difficult scenario, and we all have to work together to come out of it. And we must protect the large hospitals, the small hospitals, but most importantly, every patient and every life. That's what we're here to fight for, together.
I'm going to ask you, therefore, in conclusion, what is the biggest learning for you as someone who's seen the system from inside for several years now? What's the biggest learning from the last few days? What is it that we need to change? Because this could well come in a third wave. This second wave could intensify. What's the biggest learning that we need to imbibe from what's happened in the last few days?
That's a fantastic question. And I think that when we knew overall in India that we had a shortage of ICU beds, we have a shortage of many things, we must think big. We must believe that every life is priceless, and please invest in the healthcare infrastructure in our country. Let this never ever happen to us. That's my biggest lesson. 10 days ago, I ordered 150 oxygen concentrators. Today, I wish I had ordered 1,000. So let us not think small in the context of India. We're a large country. We can and we should find a way to be ahead of everyone else in healthcare. We have the potential to do so. That's my biggest learning.
Right.
So invest in healthcare infrastructure.
I think.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.